Today, we're diving into anger, an emotion that, well, gets a pretty bad rap, doesn't it?
It really does. We tend to think of it as just negative, something to get rid of.
Right, but what if it's more? Maybe a signal, like an alert system telling you something's wrong or a boundary's been stepped over.
Exactly. That's the key. The goal isn't really to eliminate anger, but to shift how we engage with it. Moving from just reacting, that automatic flare-up that makes things worse.
Yeah, the knee-jerk thing.
Precisely. Moving from that to responding, being more deliberate, more constructive. And that's our mission today, exploring how AI, artificial intelligence, is actually changing the game for understanding and managing this really powerful emotion.
Okay, so where do we start? Our sources mention these things called should rules as being like a root cause. What are those?
Should rules, yeah, they're these deep, often unconscious expectations we have about ourselves, about other people, how the world should be.
Like my partner should know what I need without me saying.
Exactly that. Or, this project shouldn't be so challenging. When reality doesn't match up to these hidden rules, and it often doesn't, that's when anger can really ignite.
And it's not just a thought, right? It affects your body too.
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole cycle. An unhelpful thought, like breaking a should rule, triggers physical stuff. Heart races, muscles get tight. You know that feeling. And those feelings, they often push us towards unhelpful actions. Shouting, maybe, or shutting down completely. It feeds itself, this upward spiral.
Makes you think, what rules am I holding on to without even knowing it? So if we spot this cycle starting, what are the first steps, the basic skills?
First off, managing the physical side is huge. Simple things like controlled breathing. Ever heard of the 3-3-3 rule?
Tell me.
Breathe in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3, repeat for like 3 minutes. It sounds basic, but it works. Or just taking a time out, stepping away.
Physically removing yourself.
Yeah. Distraction helps too.
Yeah.
Count backwards, focus on something else entirely, and just kind of monitoring your anger level, say 0 to 10. It helps you catch it early before you hit the roof.
Okay, calm the body down. But then there are those thoughts, those should rules. They seem harder to tackle. How do you challenge something like that?
That is the trickier part. It's about catching yourself. When you think, my colleague should have done that already, try reframing it.
How?
Shift it to a preference. I would prefer my colleague had done that. See the difference? It takes the rigid demand out. Less fuel for the fire.
Ah, okay. Demand versus preference. That makes sense. And for the actions, the behavior part.
Assertive communication is key. Using I statements. I feel frustrated when. Acknowledging the other person's point, explaining your side clearly, and suggesting a way forward. Like with the classic roommate and dirty dishes scenario.
Right. Instead of just yelling about the mess.
Exactly. Hey, when the dishes pile up, I feel stressed. Could we maybe agree on a schedule? It's about being direct but respectful.
So we've got the foundations. Breathing, challenging thoughts, communicating better. Now, the AI part. How is technology actually, boosting this? Early warnings, maybe?
It's genuinely transformative. AI can pick up on tiny cues before you even realize you're getting angry. Wearables, smartwatches tracking heart rate variability, skin conductance.
Yes, so your watch might notice you're stressed.
Yeah. Imagine it buzzing discreetly in a meeting, suggesting a quick breathing exercise because your stress levels are climbing, or voice analysis apps.
Listening to how you speak.
Right. Analyzing tone, pitch. It could maybe whisper in your earbud during a tense call. Your tone's rising a bit. Try speaking slower. A real-time coach.
Wow, okay. That's in the moment help. Can AI help us practice and get better over time too, like skill building?
Definitely. There are AI chatbots based on CBT principles, cognitive behavioral therapy. They can guide you in identifying those should rules. You might type something and it asks, sounds like a should rule. How could you rephrase that as a preference?
Like interactive therapy homework.
Sort of. And role-playing simulations. Practicing tough conversations, say, with family or at work. The AI reacts to your tone. Too aggressive. Too passive. It gives you feedback right there.
That sounds incredibly useful for practicing. And does it help with spotting deeper patterns, things we might miss ourselves?
Yes, that's another powerful angle. AI can analyze journal entries, maybe stuff you dictate. It looks for recurring themes, negative thought loops, those should rules cropping up again and again.
So it could show you like, hey, you use the phrase I have to a lot when talking about work, and that often comes before you mention feeling angry.
Exactly that kind of insight. Spotting your specific triggers and patterns is like having a superpowered mirror for your own mind.
Accelerates self-awareness. What about making it more engaging? You mentioned gamification.
Yeah, making learning less of a chore. Biofeedback games are cool. You control something in the game like making a balloon float higher by keeping your breathing calm or lowering your heart rate. You're practicing regulation without even thinking too hard about it.
Learning through play.
And VR virtual reality. Immersing yourself in tricky situations, like a simulated argument, but in a safe space. The AI characters react, and maybe if it detects you're getting overwhelmed, it prompts you to breathe, and the virtual scene actually calms down as you do, reinforces the skill.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what's the main takeaway for someone listening right now?
The big picture is that managing anger is a journey. It's ongoing work. And AI is bringing these incredibly personalized, accessible new tools to help us on that path. They're powerful additions, complements, not replacements for professional support if you need it, but they empower you.
Empower you to understand yourself better and respond more effectively. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Think about your own should rules. What are they? And how might knowing them, maybe with a little help from AI down the line, change not just your anger, but how you navigate your relationships and your whole life? Something to mull over.